Good evening, everybody. Meeting again in the session of Stuart Close philosophy. And in last lecture, we have finished a very big chapter from Stuart Close philosophy, that is the general pathology of homeopathy. In fact, many concepts regarding the pathology, regarding the diseases, regarding the health, regarding the homeopathic aspect of pathology, all are discussed in that chapter by Stuart Close. So, if you learn Stuart Close philosophy, you're going to learn many concepts which are essential in your day-to-day practice. And that's why it is necessary to understand the Close philosophy in detail. Today, we're going to start one more chapter, that is Cure and Recovery, chapter number 9. We have to learn what he wants to explain about this chapter, what he wants to say. So, we'll directly start with the chapter number 9 from Stuart Close philosophy, Cure and Recovery. The recall of medical profession. The advent of homeopathy in the world opened a new era in the medicine and gave new meaning to the word cure. See what he says. It was completely different before Hahnemann. When Hahnemann introduced homeopathy to the world, it has completely changed. Many concepts Hahnemann have brought into practice. In fact, he was fed up with his allopathic mode of treatment, and that's why he left the practice, and then he worked about the translations of the books, and then fortunately for us that he came into the um, translation of the Cullen's Materia Medica, and ultimately the homeopathy has discovered. So when he started working about the homeopathy, he has started working about each and every concepts. And then he explained the word cure, and that was completely different, which was rather absolute, having a different meaning than the previous concept. In the Organon of Medicine, Hahnemann, in the military parlance, sounded the recall to all physicians in the field and laid before them a new plan of campaign and new method of attack upon the enemy forces of the disease. So he was the first one to explain. He called all the physicians and explained this new method of treatment in 1796. This was absolutely new, and which attacks on the enemy. He has compared it like a military force. And how this works, what exactly happens, everything he started explaining about. For first time in the history, it then became possible to treat diseases under scientific principles and to perform true cures by medication. He was the first one to let down the principles in the field of medicine. First principle ultimately was the result of his 6 years experimentation on himself and on his relatives, friends, regarding those medicines which he has proved. And when he came to the conclusion, yes, confirmed regarding the law of similars, first time in 1796, he defined this law of similars to the world. It is the first pathy who tried to explain the concept of treatment or medication on the basis of specific principle. And it has started right from law of similars. The new ideal. Hahnemann contemplated the entire field of medicine from the standpoint of an ideal and efficient therapeutics. In the first paragraph of Organon, he penetrated directly to the heart of the matter and declared that the physician's high and only mission is to restore the sick to health, to cure. Then he started writing down all those things. Then how one should practice, what should be the qualities, everything he has developed. He has developed a systematic work about the how to practice homeopathy. Organon is the book which is needed to practice homeopathy in a systematic way. And in the first paragraph, when he explained about the physician's mission, he has very specifically utilized the words. He has said in the first aphorism that the physician's high and only mission is to restore the sick to health, to cure, as it is termed. Every terminology which he has tried over there or written over there has a meaning. He has not used the word doctor, he has used the physician. He has used high and only mission. It should be only mission, not goal, not target, a mission. It is a devotion without expecting anything. And then he has explained the three important terminology over there. The first is health, second is the sick, third is the cure. So the physician's high and only mission is to restore the sick to health, to cure, as it is termed, according to the cardinal principles of homeopathy. As it is termed means according to the cardinal principles of homeopathy. So 7 cardinal principles of homeopathy plus Hering's law of direction of cure. All those things are necessary in order to cure that patient. And that's why the terminology cure has a meaning. It is not haphazard cure. That's something I felt and I have given and patient has cured randomly. It is not cure. The concept of cure is according to the specific principles. And this is something new at that time because no pathy was having such types of specific ideals. Here Hahnemann took his stand. From this point, he viewed his field. By this standard, he measured all physicians, all medical theories, methods, and systems, and he desired and demanded some measurement of himself and his own method. So, he has started his own thought. He expected that he should start a system or develop a system in a scientific manner. And right from the start, he was scientific. He was scientific, that's why he was scientific minded, because of which thought came into his mind, how can these two different sentences have a meaning? Then he experimented with both the sentences, found the truth behind them, and then he thought again there might be such a law, and then he worked for it. See, his scientific approach was everywhere, and that's why whatever he has developed has a scientific meaning. He asked but one question, applied but one test: do they cure the sick? The very important question which he has asked to himself and others: do they cure the sick? The systems which were prevalent during Hahnemann time, the only question he was put: do they cure the sick? And what he was observing, they were not getting cured with the help of all those methods. Experience and observation of the men and methods of his day showed clearly that they did not cure. This was the truth. The methods which were present during his time were not curative. Either they are palliative, either they are suppressive. They are causing more and more damage to the human health. In the light of a vast and comprehensive knowledge and bitterly disappointing personal experience, he pronounced the medicine of his day a failure and set about its reformation. And being an MD allopath, he has himself found that whatever is there in the system is a failure. Nothing works, nothing cures the patient. Whatever is there is palliative, whatever is there is suppressive, whatever is there is troublesome. And that's why he considered it is necessary to start a new era, new method, which will give a clinical practice, which will develop a clinical practice, a scientific approach. And that's why he started looking towards the theme in a different way. The cure was not then, as it has since become the dominant school of medicine, an obsolete term. Physicians still locked and wrote of cures, but vainly sought to find them. The art of healing and the healing art were the familiar phrases, but the thing itself, like will of wisp, eluded them then as it has ever seen. So this terminology cure was haphazardly used during his time. It was just will o wisp. Will o wisp is the word which is used as just a method or just a saying phrase that yes, this is what is going on. The things are going on as it is. The same terminology, I think it has been used in the remedy pothos. It is there in pothos. This is as it is going on, just a method. People are doing, let us do that. Hahnemann was not like that. Hahnemann said, this is not, if this is not logical, then why should we do it? If it is troublesome, why should we do it? So he was a scientific minded person, not accepted whatever the methods which were prevalent during his time, and he considered it is necessary to evaluate it and change it. So he was having his own thoughts behind that. In the second paragraph of the Organon, Hahnemann gives for the first time in the medical history an adequate and satisfying definition of the ideal expressed in the word cure. So second aphorism is the highest ideal of cure. And what he says over there, ideal cure. It is not he said the cure should be. He said highest ideal cure. Ideal cure kasa asla pahiye, how it should be. That's what he is saying. And what the cure, how what the aphorism he has written? The highest ideal of cure is rapid, gentle, permanent restoration of the state of health or removal or annihilation of the disease in its whole extent in the shortest, most reliable, most harmless way on easily comprehensible principle. Very specifically, he has mentioned regarding this term cure. And he says cure, not only cure, the ideal cure. The highest ideal of cure is rapid, gentle, permanent restoration of the health, or removal and annihilation of the disease in its whole extent, in the shortest, most reliable, and most harmless way on easily comprehensible principle. And here he expected that cure should be like that. It is not just haphazard. Whatever is, I have given something and it worked. No, it's not like that. Why I have given this? Question starts why? It is too important. There is some science behind it. Without science, you cannot. Whatever you are prescribing is having a science. There is law of similars. Yes, there is one on one side, the patient's totality, another side, the antitype totality from the materia medica, and then you have to match, and then you have to give very specific method. And this is the way of cure. And that's why he says the highest ideal of cure is rapid, gentle, permanent. It should be rapid. Rapid means as early as possible. Gentle without causing any harm. Permanent. It should be permanent. Restoration of state of health. It brings back again the state of health. It is not just removal of symptom. Or at the same time, what he says, or annihilation or removal of the disease in its whole extent. That means whatever the miasm is there, which has caused it, that is also should be cured with the help of your remedy in the shortest, most reliable, shortest again as early as possible, most reliable. Reliable is as the homeopathic medicines, they are proved on healthy human being, they are more reliable. Before prescribing, we know what it will going to cause. It is not like that. They are proved on animals, and being any human as an animal, they are used on in the animals. It is not the method. The method is very simple, that they are proved on healthy human beings first, written down as a data completely, and applied in the similar manner on the basis of the similar state. So that's why they are more reliable. We know what it will going to cause in the shortest, most reliable, and most harmless way, without causing any harm to the patient. But this is not sufficient for anyone. He said it is not just a cure. Along with that, it should be based upon the easily comprehensible principles. In the first aphorism also, he has mentioned as it is term. In first aphorism, he has mentioned as it is term means again with the cardinal principles of homeopathy. Here also he mentions on easily comprehensible principle. Comprehensible means anyone can understand. Akalniya. Everyone can easily understand. And all those similar principles, cardinal principles, they are the same. 7 cardinal principles of homeopathy. So, Hahnemann was a person who was very clear with his thoughts. And whatever he was writing and whatever he was saying, having a value because it is experimented. Nothing he talked because he felt. Whatever he has talked and written is experimented, which has the base of scientific experimentation. And that's why he was a person who has the right to define the cure, and he has defined the ideal of cure, how it should be. So this is the introduction regarding chapter. Now he starts with principles, not precedents. In those last 4 words lies the main point of the whole matter. Last 4 words means on easily comprehensible principle. And it has been written in italics because those are very important out of that. What happens, being a student of homeopathy, we must know all the cardinal principles of homeopathy. If anyone asks, if anyone talks to you, you should be able, you should be very firm, and you should talk with them with confidence. But problem is that we don't know our cardinal principles properly. How can we define and explain it to the others? I had an opportunity to talk in front of all allopathic practitioners. There was a medical association, Ambeda Taluka Medical Association, and they called me and they have given me subject that homeopathy and rest of the systems of medicines, the correlation between them. In front of all doctors, there were physicians, there were surgeons, there were gynecologists, everyone was there. I talked nearly about 2 hours. I explained each and everything, criticizing the allopathic side over there. But no one have dare to ask me anything or to cross me on any point, because I was damn sure regarding all those principles. When I talk about all 7 cardinal principles of principles, then I talked about the Hering's law of direction of cure, and I have explained all the varieties of cases in front of them where their science doesn't have any recovery, and they accepted the things. Only thing is that we must know our principles properly. We just say we have 7 cardinal principles, but when I ask to the students final year, they don't know what 7 cardinal principles. If you being a student of homeopathy, if you don't know the cardinal principles of homeopathy, how can people know? There are 7 cardinal principles. The first one is law of similars. The second is law of simplex. The third is law of minimum dose. The fourth is doctrine of vital force. The fifth is doctrine of drug proving. The sixth is doctrine of drug dynamization. And last is the doctrine of chronic diseases. These 7 cardinal principles are there, and along with that, Hering's law of direction of cure is there. And these 7 cardinal principles you must define properly. If you are able to define and explain to them, no one have a dare to cross against you. But this is what this type of study should be there with each and every homeopath, so that you can talk freely in front of any such practitioner. In those last 4 words lies the main point of the whole matter. Cure is dependent not upon precedent, opinion, or speculation, but upon the application of the principles. So what he says, cure should not be on just a thought, just I feel. No, it is not on speculation. Speculation means tarka. It should not be on the basis of any speculation, any thought. It should be according to the cardinal principles. Very important thing which he is explaining. It is not just a speculation of someone, yes, I feel this, give this and try this. There is no question of trial and error in homeopathy, which is the common in modern science. The only principles that are easily comprehensible are principles that are true. The cardinal principles of homeopathy, they are comprehensible because everyone understands them, and they are they are based upon the nature's laws. They goes hand in hand with the nature. And that's why everyone can accept and everyone can understand them. If you teach them to the even allopaths, they can understand you. The only principles that are easily comprehensible or principles are true. The only principles that are true are principles logically deduced from the facts, all the facts that belongs to the field of research involved. So every principle which is true or truth, they are always derived from the facts. So it was a fact, whatever Hahnemann have worked it out from the Cullen's Materia Medica, whatever was written, he has one side it was written that cinchona bark is the remedy for the malaria, and another page cinchona bark has the capacity to produce malaria-like symptoms. Two opposite contradictory sentences were there. And these two contradictory sentences, when he experimented, and those were facts. So fact was known that yes, it has malaria like it has a capacity to malaria like symptom was the fact. It has a capacity to produce malaria like symptoms in the healthy human beings, that was a fact. And then on the basis of that, when he worked out with the law of similars, that law of similars was the result of experimentation on the facts, many facts, not a single fact, many facts, and then it was deduced. So every law in homeopathy, which was truth, is ultimately the result of scientific experimentation on the facts. Simplicity, comprehensibility is the highest criteria of the truth. Simplicity means you can easily understand. Things are very simple. When we say simple, anyone can understand. This is too important. If it is possible that everyone understands whatever you are telling, then they are simple, easily comprehensible, everyone can accept. There are two types of people. It has been very nicely elaborated by Osho, Rajneesh. He said there are some people who are Pandit and some are Gyani, knowledgeable. Pandit are the persons who used to talk of theories more. They uses very difficult word and shows to the world that I am the only person who knows it, you don't know it. And the second variety, those who are knowledgeable, Gyani, Jnani, those are the persons who explains the truth in a very simple manner, showing that there is nothing difficult. So Pandit is the person who will explain truth is like this, and the Gyani is the person explains the truth like this. Everything which is truth is a simple, and homeopathy is a simple based upon all cardinal principles and which are the truths of it. Simplicity, comprehensibility, and is the highest criteria of the truth. The greatest truths are always simple. Medicine in general and therapeutics in particular are authoritatively classified among the arts. Very important word which he has used or sentence which he has used. Medicine in general and therapeutics in particular are authoritatively classified among the arts. When you are examining patient and finding it out from what the patient is suffering from, coming to the deduction, coming to the specific conclusion, yes, this patient is suffering from such and such thing. It is an art. Everyone doesn't have that capacity to come to the right conclusion. Ultimately, it depends upon the art. Same is true when you choose right remedy for that patient out of a whole armamentarium which is present over there. There are many varieties of remedies are there in your materia medica. Out of them, to select a right one is very important. So it ultimately relates to the art. From time immemorial, the practice of medicine has been called the healing art of healing. Hence, the cure is product of an art. Let us consider what is meant by art. This paragraph and the next thing, which we will going to discuss in tomorrow's session, because it is very important thing one must understand, one must learn what is art in the homeopathy. And if you are able to understand what is art, then you will apply the art in your practice. We'll take many examples of it in tomorrow's session. So don't miss tomorrow's session and learn what is the art in homeopathy. So that's all for today. We'll meet again in tomorrow's session, and in the evening we'll learn new remedy, that is the ambragresia from Ellen's keynotes. Okay. So at 8 o'clock, we're going to learn ambragresia with cases, and we'll then tomorrow again we'll both sessions. Thank you being there. Any query is there, we can have a chat. Otherwise, we'll meet in the evening. So thank you and good evening.